Hey, what's up? Want to do a little quick video to show you my results on some of the stuff I've been dyeing, surplus gear and whatnot. So first off, I watched some YouTube videos, and a lot of people are using the apple green, the RIT dye apple green. Um, nah, on video at least, it looks too bright. I was looking for more of an OD or a darker look. Also, I tried some of the normal dye and it didn't work at all because this is all synthetic material for the most part. So you got to get this peacock green RIT dye more. It's for synthetics. This stuff works. Now, this is also a little on the light side for my liking. So what I did is I got some of their dark green that's not synthetic and I mixed it. And I boiled it in a pan for 15 minutes. Most of this stuff, stir it, about 3 times in 15 minutes. Then for some of the other stuff, took a half hour, boiled it, stirred it 6 times, and you can mix and match. And I did a few other things I'll talk about in a second. But here are some of my results. So I really like the OD green, just your standard, Vietnam OD green. That's what I was kind of going after. And so here's some of my results. This is just a boonie hat. This was originally, I went from living in the desert to the mountains. So this was ATAX AU, which if you know anything about that, it's really deserty, really good for the desert. But it was really, really light. So now I got a green variation to it. Not so much OD, and you can see that the materials are a little bit different. So this is darker than this. This is a forest green. This is just a lighter green. And you'll notice that with a lot of this stuff. There's some stuff that's a little bit darker, like the Velcro, the loop is darker than the hat, neck gaiter. All this stuff was ATAX AU, and now it's green. Totally usable out here. And these are mixes of wool and polyester and stuff like that. Here's a plate carrier, Cordura. This is, let me see. That's another thing I didn't really like about the videos is there was no way to look at the contrast. So there's your OD, and that's what I ended up with. If you look at that comparison, it has a greener tone, but I'm telling you live, it really does look like a forest green, and I'm totally happy with it. So moving on over, I got some 511 knee pads. The rubber would not take the synthetic dye, but these were khaki, so happy with that result. Once again, it's more of a forest green. This was your insulated tan surplus 2-quart canteen. How I achieved this is I got some of the synthetic brown, put it in a squirt bottle, and just stained it up to try to get a little bit of a pattern, because this had no pattern to it, and it worked okay. And then I boiled it for 15 minutes in the peacock green, the synthetic green. Now you can do that. The synthetic stuff, they don't have a lot of colors, so if you want to darken this stuff up, which I did, you're going to have to add their dark green, which is not a synthetic dye, with the synthetic dye. And I used a lot of dye in comparison to the recommendations. So I think that's why I got some pretty decent results. This was your typical 3-color desert. We all know how bright and disgusting that is, but you can get a lot of this stuff cheap. Now this has a little bit lighter of a color than I would like. It's not as dark as some of the other stuff, but still totally doable in the mountain environment I'm in. This came out good. Also, I did the little spray technique. Just get some synthetic brown and in a spray bottle and put some spots in it, dirty it up. Now you'll notice that the synthetic dye didn't even touch this. This was the original color of all this, and it didn't touch it at all. So you can see some of this stuff, it takes really well. These Sustainment pouches, 15 minutes, that's all it took. Let's see here, what's next? As you can see, the color contrast, this is just a run-of-the-mill mag pouch. to give a color variation. You can see what color palettes we're talking about here. A lot of you guys have the ACU and are probably wondering, well, hey, does this work for the ACU? Yep, it does. But you're going to get different color variants out of it. If it's new or just some of the materials are a little bit different. Here's a 100-round saw pouch. Came out great, no problem. Here's the little nap for the back of a helmet. It's a little bit brighter than the rest of it because I think it was new. It was, you know, pretty clean, but you can still see it's way better than what it was. Here's a Canteen Pouch. I also did the spray brown on this just to break it up a bit. This came out really nice. This was ACU, so you can buy a lot of ACU real cheap, no problem. This was ACU, and this took real nice. This is a really nice color. Show you the OD compared to it. It's more of a forest green than an OD, but I'm good with that. Here's a Sustainment Pouch, and same thing there, ACU to forest green. Now this is also an ACU vest. I wanted to give it a little bit of discoloration, so I sprayed the synthetic brown on it, let it sit overnight before I ran it in and boiled it for, I think this one I boiled for 30 minutes because it was so big and it had, you know, kind of had some buoyancy to it. So I think I gave this 30 minutes. Now let's look at some other stuff. We got some Air Force Tiger Stripe. This is also ACU, but it's a great pattern. This came out a little bit lighter than I would have liked, but still totally usable in the mountainous area I'm in now. This is the same pattern. I did the brown on this first, let it sit overnight, just spray bottled it to give it a little bit of a contrast, and then I dyed it in the boiling water for 30 minutes, and it even dyed the belt because the belt was that awful bluish gray. So these are my results. This was a synthetic 200 round pouch. I didn't think this would take it all. This is actually probably closest to OD. It's actually a killer color. So this worked out well, which was nice because this was an experiment. I got a backpack in the same material that was originally khaki, and that doesn't work for my environment anymore. So I did the backpack. We got a Blackhawk knee pad. You can see this was also khaki at one point, and now it's green. Not really, it's kind of a combo. And you can see I did a lot of that brown spray stuff. These are really hard to do because they have a lot of foam in them. So you're gonna have to sink them with something or, you know, keep watch on them. But these are my results. So you can take this and you can go to this. All right, thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.